Alright, Sons of Manus, as well as Terminator Captain aficionados, welcome on in. This is your channel master, Screws and Studs. And again, I am completely shocked, to be honest, that we have an Iron Hands action figure to review. Obviously, in this one, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the very newly released Iron Hands Captain, and we shall see exactly what JoyToy has graced us with, so let's get to the review. So the Iron Hands Captain at first glance is obviously a very bulky and imposing figure. So this Hulk actually translates well to the weight of the action figure because it feels like there's a heft, there's a ton of weight to it. Aside from that, I would have to say that there is a fantastic usage of this white frosting on the armor edges to make the armor jump out. Anyways, let's go into the review then. So starting off with this Crux Terminatus icon, it's a dirty gold color that has shading in the deep recesses right here. There is a dry brushed silver on the edges of the icon that makes the gold shine just a little bit more. So obviously I took the liberty to remove the head for more detail, so the brown hair is swept off to one side. It is highly textured with no shading. There are very prominent, hawkish, shrewd-looking angled eyebrows. The eyes, unfortunately, I'll have to say, is dark as the void of space and makes it rather creepy looking because it makes the captain look like he's possessed. Other than that, he's rocking a respirator with no highlights, and really, the respirator makes for a pretty good accessory. So with the pauldrons, there is a perfectly screened white Iron Hands logo in contrast to the midnight background. The sides of the pauldron are a nice frosted white, as I described to you all earlier. It emanates almost like a nice soft glow to it. So there is a metal plaque at the bottom of this pauldron where Manus is screened on. However, the screening is off because it has an odd curvature to the lettering. Then flipping over to the other side, the Crux Terminatus still is absolutely fantastic. It's a stone color with a weathered light gray. There is a nice vivid metallic red gem at the bottom over here. I'll have to say the pauldrons are the upgraded Terminator ones with the ball and socket joint, and it looks like this type of construction is here to stay. The arm at the elbow region has a bit of flair with this gold crowned skull. So now with this heraldic shield, there is a fantastic use of Iron Hands friendly colors with the white, red, and black. I love the gears that are portrayed on the shield. And finally, there are two normal purity seals that have been tacked on at the bottom. The chest has a very prominent winged skull that is emblazoned on the front. There's extensive weathering by the way of more silver dry brushing that serves to really deepen the dark areas between the feathers. Now with the waist area, there are three separate armor panels with one on each side, and then on the back of the Terminator right here, there is very noticeable white frosting on the edges of the plates. Really makes a nice job of making the dull black armor have some life and pop out. There is presence of one purity seal, and dangling down is an amulet that is composed of a gold skull right here, sandwiched between two golden areas. Finally, there is a weighted purity seal ribbon that has writing engraved on the plastic. So I also noticed that there is a ball and socket joint at the hip area that are metallic, which may be an upgrade from JoyToy that I have missed as of recently. So moving down to the leg area, the right one over here is rather bland, except there is a weathered crux icon with two studs down here to add a little bit more flavor to an otherwise basic shin area. The left leg, on the other hand, has way more spice than the right one. It sports a screened skull icon, and the shin is absolutely dominated by this massive modified double Aquila. There is so much heavy weathering that gives this icon a lot of detail and dimension. The ankle joint right here has also been changed to metal to add more durability, and it's really nice to see that JoyToy has been improving these action figures in small increments. So with the back, it is rather bland and flavorless, much like a black hole. There's really nothing much to see here in my opinion. While I have the Terminator in front of me, let's take a look at the power fist right here. It is likely the most amazing part of this figure, as we have seen pretty much everything else. The Power Fist can actually be rotated back and forth like this, which I believe is a new thing that is not seen in other Terminators. In previous action figures, this particular area would be static and can only be rotated about this axis on the upper arm. So there's a nice tie-in to the Iron Hands because the whole Power Fist is a dark gunmetal color. The wear is conveyed through dry brushing to give the Power Fist almost like a fake scratch kind of look. The gold skulls tie the glove together and stands out in contrast to the rest of the armor. And finally, with the Combi Melta, the muzzle on the Melta part of it is an eye-catching gold compared to the weathered white casing right here and the rest of the gunmetal treatments on the Combi weapon. The choice of the white casing really makes the weapon scream, "Look at me!" when it is put up against the void of the Terminator armor. And I think the weathering actually adds a nice touch to the gun, indicating that it has been used extensively in combat. Most of you love these size comparisons, so I think I'm going to oblige you Iron Hands fans, as well as just members of the channel. So as you can see here, there is a marked size difference between this new Terminator Captain versus this Iron Hands Sergeant over here. And I actually think that this size discrepancy is rather obscene, to be honest. I understand that there's going to be some sort of variation between sizes, but this variation is insane. Just look at how tall this Iron Hands Captain is compared to the Sergeant over here. Literally, the Sergeant stands a couple heads taller than this regular Primaris Marine, which I don't really think should happen, but this size creep is definitely very real and very pronounced. So I have decided also to put the Iron Hands Captain next to the Leviathan Ultramarines Captain. And thankfully, there is no size discrepancy over here. The height of these Terminators are thankfully the same. And so that is the review of this Iron Hands Terminator Captain. Let me wrap this up with what I truly think about this Terminator. As Iron Hand figures are few and far between, I would say that this is going to be a must-buy for all Iron Hands lovers, because all that has been released is basically the regular Primaris action figures, as well as the Gravis Armored Iron Father. There has been no other releases in Terminator form for the Iron Hands, nor somebody to actually fulfill the captain role. There's a good usage of frosting on the armor that really makes the black pop out. It is a solid example of a Terminator, and I don't think that you're going to go wrong if you decide to go buy it. I think that the most outstanding area on the figure, unironically, is the iron-looking Power Fist. It blends in just enough against the black, but is unique to stand out against it. I'm just not a fan of the black eyes. Hopefully the one that I bought is just a manufacturing defect, because the pupils, again, are not centered and the captain just looks absolutely possessed. So Iron Hands fans, if you are interested in buying this action figure, please click in the link in the description below, where you will be brought to David Toys, which is the finest purveyors of these action figures that you see right here. And before you check out, do not forget to use the code SNS to save yourself 12% off of your total purchase. And with that being said, members of the chapter, once again, thank you so much for your support and your continued viewership, the likes, and the comments that you leave in the comments section below. I am extremely appreciative of all of your input, as well as just your devotion to this channel. And with that being said, I want to thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one.